Alabama about impending catastrophe and calamity. He claims that all of this is well documented on his Facebook page.
Yes.
Okay. Would you care to give that again?
Facebook.com/SlimJ59.
I heard him, and of course he's reiterated in our presence, that God has whispered in his ear to cut me off, and he has said that I am basically a mouthpiece of Satan. And obviously, in that James considers himself to be, I don't know if he considers himself to be the most important servant of God on the planet today. It kind of sounds to me like he does, like maybe he, has not messianic tendencies, but definitely some megalomaniacal, delusions of grandeur.
Then you'll know on Judgment Day, okay?
Okay, and
you'll know on Judgment Day when you start to burn.
And all I'm trying to do here, of course, as a reporter, I'm trying to, who has a compelling interest, because he's out in front of our business here.
I gave you a compelling interest. I serve God.
Now James told me he was told to cut me off, but now he's trying to interfere with this broadcast. But we'll persevere and try to get
the greater interest to save the soul.
We'll try to get the word out. Okay.
I tried to save
now,
the soul. You wouldn't listen.
Let me say also that I, Rick Tyler, if anybody tries to do anything to keep James from being out here at this location, I personally will do everything in my power to defend his right, his First Amendment right, to do what he's doing. Because one thing I do believe about James, just in this very fleeting, brief encounter, I believe this man is as sincere as the day is long. I don't think there's an insincere bone in his body. And so I will fight to protect and defend his right to do exactly what he's doing. And even if I didn't think he was sincere, I would still fight to defend his right, because that First Amendment right is inviolate, it's sacred, it is immutable, and if it doesn't apply to James and it doesn't apply to me, we're diametrically apart from each other in our theology and, in a lot of things, I'm sure. But we both have something in common. We're both radical guys, and I'm sure James could probably write books about how much he has been persecuted, probably hated by people, condemned, as can I. So in that sense, we're kindred spirits.
That's all nice and good. But
regardless of how he feels to me.
God has sent me here to tell you to stop.
Regardless of how he feels to me.
That's the end of the story.
Now, I wish James had a little humility, because I could help him right now. I could school him doctrinally and theologically. And also from a spirit-filled standpoint, I could school him about the dangers of pride. Of spiritual pride.
That was the end of the story.
We'll let James go ahead and say what he wants to say.
God said, this is it, that's it. And that's it for you. As far as your soul, you should have listened to me. God said it was listening to save Noah. The ark was just a method he's used. And that's the end of the story when he sends somebody from his house.
Yeah.
You need to get this county, boy.
Why don't you?
Why don't I?
Yeah. You know what? You are so anti-American, I can't believe it.
Anti-American? I searched for my country.
Well, that matter. You're talking like a great person right now. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a Bulgarian. Don't threaten me, friend. Don't threaten me.
That ain't a threat.
Oh, I think it is. And don't do it. Don't. No, you don't say that. You'll be in trouble. Okay?
You want to see trouble?
I guess so.
You need down.
Why don't
Matter of fact, why don't you get
Why don't
you
stop being Bulgarian?
You're
I'm not. Not. You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. Did you see your
Hey,
son?
Did you see your own what you're talking about? Now, please, for the camera, you've got him on film. When a wise man argues with
He's a
when a wise man argues with a fool, they both wind up sounding like a fool. Okay? When a wise man argues with a fool, they both wind up sounding like a fool. Again, to resume what I was saying, James he's convinced that he's on a mission from God. He's convinced he has been sent here as a spokesman for God to call down condemnation and judgment and the wrath of God on me. And again, as I stated earlier, I believe that he is totally sincere, but I believe, it's my sincere belief, that he is consumed with a form of spiritual pride that renders him incapable of being able to see himself through a proper prism. I believe that he is not in any way open or amenable to seeing his own fallibility, his own frailties.
Noah was a drunk, and God still used him because he didn't want to save those people anyway, but he was giving those people a chance. God told me he was giving them a chance to listen, and he was being just in that. Just like I just gave you a chance. Your soul has been condemned. That's the end of it. Your soul, God has
all right,
condemned
now
your soul.
James has pronounced final condemnation on my soul, claiming to be the spokesman of God.
I am.
So
There's no claiming to it.
And
There's
of
no
course,
claiming to it. That's the end of the story for it.
anybody who has any theological foundation is going to see some real problems with, what James is saying here. But again, he's totally free to say it. I recognize and will defend his First Amendment right to the hill.
He gave the Queen of Sheba judgment. He gave Noah had judgment. And he also told me that most of his disciples had judgment because they were being received just like I'm being received by you. And they went through great hardships in his service. So you just been judged. You can say all you want to say. This is no substance any longer. Unless you just want to hear yourself talk. Because you will not enter my Father's kingdom. You will not be going in my Father's kingdom.
Well, we obviously have ample and sufficient documentary evidence as to James's delusional state of mind, that he believes himself to be the oracle of God, that he believes himself to be qualified.
If you can't believe what you tell me, what you read in the Bible, then you don't have no substance in God in the first place. If you can't believe
James
the things that's in the Bible, you have no substance.
It's kind of ironic because James, his name is James, and in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 8, it says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
I'm with the Lord. I'm with the Lord. I'm not double-minded.
So here, on the one hand, James doesn't want to talk about the Scripture. He just wants to convey what supposedly God is telling him.
Told you what God wanted to say.
Then, in a hypocritical, double-minded fashion, he will begin to refer to the Bible and quote it.
I was trying to help.
So obviously, he has
but you don't know.
He has a double standard and a double-minded approach.
You only think of what you want to think of. I'm telling you what God is saying. I prophesy things, I see them manifesting, and there's a fool that can't understand that. You can go to my page right now, look at videos I posted on there and see how prophecy things.
What's that page again?
It's on there. I'm telling you the same thing.
People have a short attention span. They may not watch the whole thing.
What's my name?
James Waller.
Okay, just look.
But I don't remember your actual Facebook location.
Facebook.com/SlimJ59.
SlimJ59. Is the 59 the year you were born?
That's irrelevant.
I'm just wondering. I'm curious kind of guy.
But you need to focus on what I told you.
I was born in 57. Were you born in 59?
You need to focus on what I told you about God.
James obviously is he's got a one-track mind in terms of his desire to try to shut me down. He wants me to play by his rules, and he's the arbiter. And of course, anything James says is of God. Anything James says is of God.
Yeah. If God was standing, will you obey him or would you obey him?
Jacob. H2O, please. So it remains to be seen out here on Highway 64 in Podunk, USA, out in the middle of nowhere in Ocoee, Tennessee. It remains to be seen what will come of this latest interesting chapter of the drama that's unfolding in our county. Here a few minutes ago, a young man pulled up in a red King Cab pickup truck, and man, this guy was frothing at the mouth. He was like insane with rage, spewing forth vulgarities and profanity. And one piece of advice I have for the younger generation today, I notice all these social justice warriors and keyboard warriors, these guys can't utter a sentence without using the F word. And I would just advise them to clean up their potty mouth, their speech a little bit, and they would be a lot more effective
that guy
as
is cleaner than you.
communicators.
That guy would be entering heaven and you won't. Just like Noah was a drunk and God used him and other people didn't. Just like the Pharisees knew the word, but they didn't know Jesus. That's you, exactly. Just like the Pharisees,
probably trying
you can
to
say all kind of eloquence, make all kind of eloquent
trying
speeches,
to do
but
a
you
little,
you will not be entering God's kingdom.
trying to do a little
That guy that he
Christian.
cursed all day.
Step down here for a second.
And Drake had a big bottle of whiskey in his car. He'd be entering heaven before you.
Get down here so we can talk without James drowning us out. He's like that person yesterday who was sitting on their horn so that the world couldn't hear what I have to say.